One. Welcome everyone to the initial marketing strategy. We are super excited to have you. Thank you very much for your time and for your investment, and we hope to provide a lot of value for you. We have a lot to cover, and we want to hope this really helps you get some more cash-based physical therapy patients into your practice, or if you're thinking about adding cash-based services, at least getting some more cash-based practices patients coming in that way. So, welcome to the initial marketing strategy, and we're going to get started. So, our main objective for you is quite and simple. It's to help you design your own marketing strategy with a proven 7-step process to get you your ideal, perfect patients, generating your first 10 cash paying patients for your practice. So, this can be for a new cash based practice, this can be for an established practice, or if you're an insurance based practice and you want to add cash based services to your existing business, this course is built specifically for you all. So, just a brief intro. My name is Ron Miller. My colleague is Dave Kittle. I'm the owner of Pursuit Physical Therapy. I'm a brick and mortar clinic in Orlando, Florida. Dave owns Concierge Pain Relief in New York, New York. His is a mobile practice, so you're kind of getting the best of both worlds there. Um, but we don't want to talk about us. If you want some more information about us, you can go visit cashbasedphysicaltherapy.org. This course is going to be about you and designing your marketing strategy. So, to keep things simple, we operate by the KISS principle. Keep it simple, stupid. Okay. There's no need to make things more complex than what they need to be. We like to break things down into simple principles, simple concepts, so you can understand this and understand those marketing concepts and apply them easier and better, keeping things simple. Just like Albert Einstein wanted, everything should be made as simple as possible, but not simpler. So, um, just to let you know, every business has a marketing problem. Marketing is probably the number one problem in businesses is, some sort of marketing or lead gen. All of us have a marketing problem. If you're starting out in a new business, you have a marketing problem. If you're trying to scale your practice like Dave and I are doing, you have a marketing problem. It's a never-ending problem. So this is going to give you the foundation to solve that problem. Um, Dave and I could probably talk a lot about the old way of physical therapy marketing, uh,
Definitely.
you know, of the old insurance model where they used to take baskets to physicians and rely 100% on physicians for word of mouth referrals to thrive their practice. And even nowadays, people are just marketing physical therapy. And just to let you know, that's the old way of doing things. And there's a new way of doing it. And there's a better way. And we're going to give you the 7 steps today to kind of go over this and give you a blueprint of a foundation of a marketing strategy that works, doing new and innovative ways of doing this. Just to highlight some of the basics here, this is a simple cash based system. You have marketing that's going to produce leads, um, and then the leads are going to turn into evals. And then the process of converting a lead to an eval is called the phone call process. Yes, you are going to have to learn how to sell because we're creating a new norm, or like we're going against the status quo. People aren't used to paying cash for services. So you are going to have to learn a sales process of how to talk to people on the phone, especially when attracting a cash-based prospect. The conversion of evals to a new patient, that's another sales process, and that's called the eval sales process. And that's going to be your strategy or your techniques to convert that eval into a paying patient who's ready and willing to pay for your services. So this is an example, a simple breakdown of a cash-based system. Whether this is your whole model because you're a cash-based practice, or whether you want to add cash-based services to your existing practice, you're going to have to do this at some point. You're going to have to learn how to market, learn how to convert leads to evals, and learn how to convert evaluations to new patients. But the focus of today's lecture and today's training is going to be all on marketing, and that's why there's an arrow going directly to the marketing one. So, any other stuff that you want to highlight or go over before we get started, Dave?
No, so really quick, I mean, Ron and I work now together, but when I was transitioning, into this private pay world where we're basically asking someone to pay out of pocket or be cash based or being private pay, where they're paying you a lot more out of pocket than where they would pay a local physical therapy office to go in network, right? But it is, believe it or not, this whole marketing system, this whole marketing funnel. It is very simple. You need to have a system to get prospective patients, what we call leads. You need to have a system to generate that. And then booking them for an evaluation and potentially a plan of care. And so it's really simple, those two things. The third thing, we have future courses to build out your practice in terms of growing your income, growing your profits, hiring staff, building out things and more systems. But it's very, very simple. Those two things, generating prospective patients and leads and booking them to an evaluation. But the biggest thing you're going to learn in your initial marketing strategy right now tonight, over the next several minutes to hours, is the marketing system that flat out works this very year. This works in a brick and mortar practice with Ron. This works in a mobile concierge home visit style practice that I have in New York City. These strategies, these techniques, we are teaching them to our mastermind members and our clients and our students in our programs. And you guys, with this investment, you will now learn this full system. We're going to break it down very, very simply, step by step, and show you exactly what's working this very year right now.
Yeah, and normally I have to limit the amount of time that Dave's talking because Dave will go off on
I will.
huge things.
So you got to reel me in.
I'm gonna have to like mute him sometimes. Okay, so let's get started. So when I first started out and I was thinking about going cash based, I was like, okay, I'm gonna target people who want a physiotherapy. And in your mind, and we all do this, like we have this concept in our minds that we need to be able to treat everyone. And I never really understood this until I started to hear about pelvic floor PTs. I'm like, whoa, no way. A pelvic floor physiotherapist can only treat pelvic floor stuff, and that's all that they want to treat. So I was like, wow, do we have to treat everyone? And then it's like, why can't I just treat certain diagnoses? Why can't I treat patients who I like to treat? Why can't I treat just sciatica because I want to specialize in that? Why can't I treat just niche markets? Why can I could just treat runners. I can just treat certain things. And if you haven't seen this TED Talk yet, I think this is the #1 TED Talk across the board. It's Simon Sinek's TED Talk about why. And it kind of just answered my whole question. The goal is not to do business with everyone who needs what you have. The goal is to do business with people who believe in what you believe, and you will attract these people. By targeting and addressing why is going to drive behavior and action. So you don't have to treat everyone. You don't have to treat everyone who wants physiotherapy or is referred to physiotherapy by a physician. You don't have to treat everyone. Okay, people don't buy what you do; they buy why you do it. And one way to do this is on your About Us page on your website. This is my About Us statement. And you could see that it's only going to attract a certain group of people that value this. Okay. We believe nothing should dictate the quality of your healthcare except what is best for you. Our board certified doctors of physiotherapy will provide individualized one-on-one patient care and help you to get out of pain and back to your favorite activities that you love. You could see that this statement does not appeal to everyone who was told to go to physiotherapy. This statement is targeting a specific group of people that value what is best for them. They want the best. They want the best people to treat them, and they want individualized one-on-one patient care. So this is an About Us statement. This is an example. This is on my website. This will deter some people away who don't want this, and then it's going to really attract people who do want this. So one key tip out of this whole marketing strategy is your marketing message needs to speak to the right audience and be laser focused. Stop doing widespread general marketing. Stop marketing physiotherapy. Physiotherapy is a damaged brand. The public doesn't know a lot about physiotherapy. They think we're glorified personal trainers or post-op rehab people. So most people probably think, well, I didn't have surgery, so I don't need physiotherapy. So one point is your marketing message needs to speak to the right audience and be laser focused. Any thoughts on that one, Dave?
No, we can keep going. It's great.
Perfect.
And true.
What I like to call this is optimal patient targeting. We're identifying prospective patients that meet my definition of my ideal patient, and we're targeting specific niches that I specialize in, that I want to treat. And better yet, I know these patients will best respond to my treatment approach. Okay, so no more general marketing. We're going to get specific and get laser focused. So, how do we start to build a marketing strategy? So, let's keep it basic. Remember the KISS principle, keep it simple, stupid. So, there's four basic types of marketing. Okay, there's branding marketing, okay, like TV commercials, lawyer billboards, T-shirts with a logo. I just had lunch with a top lawyer around Orlando, and he told me this. He's like, "Well, for one, you don't get your lawyer, your doctor, or your pastor from a billboard." So, so
Right.
he's my ideal patient type. But
Because he gets it.
yeah, the point is with this, branding is just one option of doing this, and it's okay to do maybe with some of your current patients who know you, like you, and trust you, and know the system, but we should probably stay away from brand marketing because PT, let's face it, is a damaged brand and the public doesn't know a lot about that. Direct response marketing is great. You see this a lot on like e-commerce sites. Those salesy commercials that say buy now with free shipping and handling and get two more pillows for free or something like that. Direct fly like mailers and like a newspaper ad. Okay, you have sciatica, call now. That's an example of a direct response marketing or a direct mail flyer. Search marketing is the third type. This is like Google searching, other search engines, YouTube, when people are actively online searching for terms. Best Orlando treatment, best sciatica treatment, how to fix sciatica. What is sciatica? These people are more aware, maybe pain aware, solution aware, um, that they're actively searching for knowledge, treatment solutions, etc. This is the best time. I know Dave would probably say this too. This is both of ours favorite type of marketing to do. The last type is interrupt marketing. Everyone's on Facebook and getting obliterated by Facebook ads now. YouTube is getting annoying as hell right now too. There's ads popping up there. Interrupt marketing is when I'm on a platform and I don't even need the services, but someone's trying to market to me and that ad pops up in front of me. So those are the four main types of marketing. Um, I'm sure that Dave would probably say this too, but his favorite is probably the search one too. Anything that you want to add in with that?
Yeah, I mean, you guys might learn more and more from us in the future, whether it's in our Facebook group or other courses. But interrupt marketing, like Ron said, if you're scrolling through Instagram or Facebook and you see an ad for a physical therapy clinic, you're interrupting that person, you're jumping in front of that person. So they might be interested, or they literally may have no interest at all. Interrupt marketing could be cheaper in some cases. Facebook ads are still, as per Gary Vee, potentially underpriced. And Google Ads is what Ron and I will really rely on search marketing, because we want to elevate and jump in front of and show our landing pages or our search terms and our ads to someone who's already has the intent and the uh, the the goal of looking for solutions that you provide. Someone in your zip code right now looking for sciatica pain relief, and they go on Google and they're looking for best sciatica pain relief or sciatica physical therapy or rehab or what stretches to do for sciatica, and boom, you pop up. So that's why it's really valuable. But we'll learn more in this course. You're going to hear that that could only be potentially 3 to 7% of the people that have sciatica that at that given time is looking for it. We'll get more
Yeah.
into it in the course.
Yeah. So the question is, which type is best for you? It may be a combination of direct response, search, and interrupt. Obviously, Dave and I recommend to do more search because you're dealing with people who are actively looking for a solution or for information. The point of this is maybe stay away from branding until you have a well recognized brand around your area, and then maybe do more branding. But at least to start out with, definitely go more towards the direct response, the search, or the interrupt. So let's get started. This is going to be your new physical therapy marketing strategy. We're going to outline 7 steps here that you guys can follow and implement tomorrow to start building your marketing strategy. So the first question, this is probably the most important thing in the whole lecture here, okay, is who do you want to treat? So many people skip this question and they just go on to start doing some marketing, but they don't get this one essential step. Step one, if you forget everything, remember this one thing. When you're going to start marketing, your first step is to clearly identify your ideal patient. Okay. You can't understand your customers deeply and genuinely, and you can't truly serve them. So if we can understand what's going on in their head, or what they're thinking, or what they're feeling, or what they want, or what their problems are, we're not going to be able to truly help them anyway because we're never going to capture them. So we have to understand and clearly identify who our ideal patient is. Okay. So we have to define our demographics and our psychographics. Okay. What are some examples of demographics and psychographics? Demographics, age, education, location, gender. Psychographics are more, what are they thinking? What motivates them? What's their attitudes? What's their inspirations? What's their problems, their goals, and their dreams? You could see that psychographics are more thoughts, emotions, feelings, and what they want. Demographics are the stuff that we always think of. But most people, whenever they think of identifying their ideal patient or client, they just do the demographics and they totally forget about the psychographics. So let's go into demographics. Let's define your niches and sub niches. Again, with marketing, this has to be specific. And the more specific, the better. Let's go over some examples. Okay, so you have a niche market, and there's a niche, there's a sub niche, and a micro niche. And the more specific that you get, the better, because you'll be able to relate to that patient when you're doing a marketing campaign. Okay, what are some examples of this? Like, say, real estate. The real estate niche is just too general. There's so many different types of real estate topics and strategies. So maybe a sub niche is real estate investors who have capital to invest. Maybe they're looking to buy a rental property, maybe a commercial property, etc. But even niche down again, it's different than a flipper. Okay, someone who wants to buy a house for cheap, renovate it, flip it, and sell it for profit. You can see how if I want to target some of these people, I need a micro niche that if I'm going to target flippers, I need to have a marketing strategy just about flipping houses. Okay, not just doing real estate in general. One common example that we all see is people I just want to target active people age 30 to 55. I don't want to see Medicare, so I'm just going to say 35 to 60 or 35 to 55. And they say I just want to target active people who want to stay active. So that's too general. Okay, let's sub niche down. I want to target those who work out in a weight room, in a gym. Okay, let's micro niche that down. I want to target older individuals, 40 to 70-year-old men who work out in a gym and like to weight lift. Okay, see the difference there? That I can write a really good landing page or a campaign for that micro niche, but you don't know the pain points or what they're thinking if you keep it just a general niche. Why do you do so much detail? The more specific, the easier it is to target. It's easier to find those people. It's easier to communicate because you're going to know what they're feeling and saying and thinking about. You can even relate to them better. You'll be able to use meaningful copy, meaningful terms, like whenever you're marketing to a CrossFitter and you're talking about a PR, or you can relate to runners better if you're using runner lingo. Okay, it's hard to write one message for millions of people. I heard that quote and I was like, that makes a lot of sense. It's easy to write a message for a micro niche or a sub niche, but it's hard to write one message to relate to a millions of people. So, and even better, it also excludes the people who you don't want to treat. Okay, so this is an example of my first four niche markets when I first started, and you could see that this is a problem. I just wanted to target the rich people who wanted the best treatment, athletes, running, CrossFit, basic. I linked all these people into active athletes, 30 to 70-year-olds who want to stay active in complex cases that failed other treatments. You can see that these are just general searches or general niches, and it's not specific enough. I just want to go over this one example because I found this lawyer example who he's deciding who he wants to treat, and you could see how much detail that he gets into. So this is a lawyer example of his perfect patient or perfect client. My perfect client is someone who's in the middle upper class, educated, has plenty of car and health insurance, is looking for a respected authority and not just a lottery payout from who they will take advice from. Of course, we are looking for the large damage cases. My marketing is designed to attract that client and to repel anyone who doesn't match that model. And then he lists a bunch of attributes that he doesn't want to see in a client. Okay. So look at the example here of how in depth his perfect client is. And that's what we have to do when we're designing a marketing strategy. So examples here. This is my affluent Orlando population one. So I want the affluent people in Orlando with blank pain who are looking for the best treatment and they don't have time to be in pain. They're busy with their successful careers and like to stay active and live their life. They are looking and want high quality treatment to fix the root cause of their pain so they can back to being a high performer, thrive, and live an active lifestyle without pain. These are people kind of like, okay, I have pain. This is annoying. It's bothering me. I can't do this. Who's the best person to treat my back pain? Okay. Lawyers, doctors, CEOs, business owners, bankers, influencers. Okay. Another niche is going over a 15 to 35 athlete population. Okay. And I have my description written down. This is made up of some of these baseball and soccer players, jujitsu, CrossFit. But if I was going to do an individual marketing strategy, I'd take each sub niche and micro niche out, and it'll be all for that. Okay, all about baseball, all about jujitsu, and stuff like that. The 35 to 70-year-old population, again, these are people who have careers and enjoy living an active lifestyle. They don't want to be sedentary. They want to live their life to the fullest. They want to enjoy life. They may be involved in a local group or enjoy being active with friends like golf, tennis, running. They are more financially stable and are willing to pay out of pocket for high quality healthcare to keep them active, to stay off meds and avoid surgeries. Okay. And my last one is going to be complex cases. That and then this one here is this is an easy one to sell because these people are actively searching online already and they're just looking for hope. So your testimonials are going to sell them. They're just looking for answers and anyone that can help them. So those are my main four niche markets. What are your niche markets, Dave, that you tend to focus on in your mobile practice?
Yep. So before we were recording, I was reminding Ron that we have two. So what we do is we have uh, in New York City with our home visits, we have the first niche, busy professionals between the ages of 40 and 65. So basically anyone under 40. Now, of course, I have a few people here and there, and my wife and I, Annie's a PT&R practice as well, and other therapists. And of course, we have some 20 and 30-year-olds here and there. But we have two niches. One niche, busy professionals between 40 and 60 years old, where time is their biggest asset and they have some money and financial resources to pay extra for the convenience of one-on-one treatments, 1 hour long treatments in their home. And before COVID, in their offices, in law firms, in hedge fund boardrooms, in hotels, in restaurants. We've been everywhere before COVID. And the second niche is older adults, typically retired, so older than 65, that want to maintain their mobility, maintain their independence without being a burden on their children. And those people may also have, or typically will have, some financial resources where they want the convenience and the privacy of us coming to their home, rather than going to an outpatient clinic. So those are my two niches. And obviously within those age ranges, we're going to have some people that call us up and they're going to say, hey, where's your office? I want to go to an office. I want to unplug from my world. I want to go to an office like such as Ron's office in Orlando. And those people we have to refer out to our other colleagues and other people outside of our practice, because they are not the right fit.
Yeah. That same lawyer who I had lunch with, he was like, Ron, with these types of patients, you just want to be a line on the expense report right there for them. So it's like they want to come to you all the time. They want to follow up with you, and you're just going to be a line on their expenses, and it's just going to be like a monthly expense. So that's nice to have. So um, I if you're watching this, I want you to stop here and make a list of your niche market, of who you want to target, and clearly define what your niche market is. You may have one just starting out, you may have three or four. I definitely pick one, pick your ideal patient, and clearly define who your ideal patient and your ideal niche market is. And then, because your marketing strategy is going to be all based on that one. If you want to have multiple niches, kind of like Dave and I do, then take some extra time and write out each ideal patient and clearly identify that sub niche or that micro niche. But if you're going to do that, you can hit stop right now and then just click play after you complete that. So we know who. Now, what do they want? This is where we're going to get into the psychographics. Okay. So the key tip here is we're going to identify and sell them what they want, not what they need. Okay. So some of you may have seen like a picture like this, but we need to get inside what our ideal patient is thinking. We need to identify their problems. We need to identify their questions. We need to identify the roadblocks of what's stopping them from take action. And then on the other end of the cliff, what are the results that they want? You may have to go and sit in a quiet room and just kind of brainstorm and imagine yourself, if you were your ideal patient, what would you be thinking? What problems would you be have? You can even take like a little survey of like a running group. What problems do you have? What questions do you have? What's stopping you from running pain free again? But we have to identify these things in our patients so we can relate to them and learn how to write good copy and relate to them, understand them so we can get them to take action. So, a simple drill right here is make a list. What problems does your ideal patient have? And write down five of them. What questions do you think that your ideal patient has? What roadblocks do they have? The most common roadblock is going to be, do you take my health insurance? Everyone's going to get that question. Okay. That's an example of a roadblock that your ideal patient may or may not have. And what results do they want? With your ideal patient, what specific results do they want? It's not just getting pain free. It's getting back to running again with their friends, being able to train hard, being able to go on the family vacation, being able to play with their grandkids. That's what they really want. Okay, so uh, for another drill right here, go back over those and make a list. Write them down. What are five problems? What are five questions? What are five roadblocks? And five results of what each of your niche markets want. Because once you identify that, that's going to be the essential next step of designing your next marketing strategy. Okay. Because in a cash-based practice, let's call a spade a spade. We need to understand what the patient's roadblocks and barriers are to change. We have an uphill battle here, not only just as physical therapists, but in a cash-based physical therapy practice. Because the number one thing is the negative belief that no one's ever going to pay cash for this when they can go and get the same thing in like a health insurance PT clinic. So I do want to break down some barriers and roadblocks here, um, just to help you guys, because I feel that if we can identify the barriers and the roadblocks, we can provide solutions for them and make it easy for our prospective patients to say yes and to be willing and ready to pay 165 for an evaluation. That's what I charge. I charge $165 a evaluation. My average cost per visit is roughly $170. Dave, what are some examples of what you're charging nowadays? Dave's whooping me when it comes to this too, and he's
Well,
mobile. He doesn't have
yeah.
any
Well, also,
expenses, by the way.
I'm in one of the biggest cities in the U.S. compared to Orlando. No offense, Orlando, and a higher cost of living here. And also, we go to our clients, so we drive to them. So on average, we're around $250 per visit. So yes, $250 for a 60-minute visit. It's not for everyone, and you can imagine if you're 30 or 40 years old and you still have student loan debt, and you hear that, um, and if you say no one will ever pay that, you're not my ideal patient, and that's okay.
That's right.
So, and we have people paying much higher. It really depends on
Yeah,
if they wanted just weekends, if they were further away, $280, 330, $325. It really depends. It really escalates. But I know you probably can't imagine that, but it is possible. and it is a boulder. So getting back to this slide,
Yeah.
we are definitely not an impulse buy. Someone that is in network that looks at their insurance card and has a $20 copay, and they call for physical therapy, and they think in their mind like, oh, I'm only going to value that, and I'm only going to put credit of that place of worth of $20 per visit. That's some of the challenges that you're going to face. That is a pebble. What we're trying to present to patients is, if we can harp on and speak to their results, and going back a couple of slides, you don't have to move the slides, Ron, but
Yeah.
going back to, if you know their questions, their challenges, their problems, their roadblocks, if you can speak to all that on a phone call, in your messaging, on your ads, in your blog posts, on your website, wherever, you can warm up a lot of those people. So it takes it from being as easy as a pebble, rather than being such a big boulder. But we'll get more into that in this course.
Yeah, so you guys understand that Dave is targeting a certain type of patient that values their healthcare enough that they're willing to pay $250 a session. You don't have to see everyone. You don't have to see everyone who needs physical therapy. We got to get out of that mindset that you can run a successful business and a successful cash-based practice by targeting niches or people who value their healthcare and are willing to pay cash for the best or for services. So one thing that a lot of PTs may not understand is this an impulse buy? Are we trying to move a pebble? Are we trying to move a boulder with this? Because you'll see a lot of things like an impulse buy is normally under $100, and it's buying a product that you don't have to think about, or making a change that you don't have to really have a lot of thought about. Are we an impulse buy or not? So examples of like a pebble or an impulse buy is buying a type of toothpaste, or the type of paper to buy, or dish soap, or which 15 broad $15 product to buy, or to read a blog post or not. A boulder or a non impulse buy where you have to think about it and kind of earn their trust is political preference, business software, switching brands, medical, car purchases, buying a home. Okay. What are some barriers that affect boulder change? The more expensive it is, the more of it's going to be more of a boulder. If it's more time consuming, it's going to take some time with physical therapy, and it's going to be more of a boulder. If it's more risky, oh my God, I'm paying cash for this when I can go to the insurance and do that. It's going to be a boulder. It's more controversial. We're going against the status quo here, asking people to pay cash for services. So the more barriers that it's required to promote the change, it's going to require more and more work to actually create that change. And yes, cash-based physical therapy is a boulder. Okay, this is not an impulse buy. I bought my wallet off an impulse buy off an Instagram ad. It was like 37 bucks. That's not a lot. But if someone's going to choose to do physical therapy for 165, it's not an impulse buy. So what other barriers do we have to face? There's internal and external physical therapy barriers. These are just what the whole industry has to deal with. Most people just think they hope that it goes away with rest, and it always has before. They can just do some stretches and ice it. They want a quick fix. And a lot of PT services don't require or don't have that quick fix. It needs more time, participation. Standard care wants people to come in 3 times a week for 4 weeks. No one has time to do that. Patients don't even know about PT. If you have back pain, your number one thought is going to be a chiropractor or a spine physician. Or they think we're just post-op rehab, or they tried PT before and it didn't really work. Or they may like PT and they have a PT clinic already that they like. Those are some internal barriers. External are increased out-of-pocket costs with the high deductibles. So most patients have like a $3, $4, $5,000 deductible now. So they have a choice to make where they're going to go do their physical therapy, or they're too busy at work. They don't have time for PT. This is one of the differentiating factors that Dave's business provides. That, hey, we're going to save time for you. We're going to come over to you at your office or at your home. So he solves that problem. PT has a damaged brand, a damaged stereotype, or the doctor told me to go somewhere else, or the insurance company told me to go somewhere else. And better yet, if we don't start adapting, your insurance company is going to start doing some virtual not mobile, but virtual PT stuff that they're going to get rid of the therapist to have you do like a home exercise program that's based just in your phone or your app. So, what are some cash-based PT barriers that we have to do? Everyone's have to deal with this. You want me to pay what? You're asking me to pay cash for this? So it's definitely more controversial. Some people believe that healthcare should be free, and that insurance should cover everything, and that they shouldn't have to pay. Or you're going to hear this a lot: it costs too much. I can't afford it. You have to have systems and processes in place to answer these problems. If you know that you can help out someone, but they can't afford it, what do you do?
You
And
know, and that
every
that it would be great if it wasn't as costly, but we in this current day as physical therapy business owners don't really have any leverage to change that. So all we can do is acknowledge the situation and let them know that.
yeah.
That
Do you
that's you
take
know that's the reality right now.
yeah,
Sorry, go ahead.
do you take my health insurance? You're going to have a solution to this one, because everyone's going to get this. Dave and I have to deal with this every day still, but you have to have a process and a system in place to overcome this barrier. What is my deductible? I would say 85% of people don't even know what their deductible is yet. So, and again, some external barriers, again, we're going against the status quo. So we're going against the norm. So it's going to be hard and increase risk. What if I pay cash and it doesn't work? That's interesting. What's your solution for that one? So the point is that as a cash-based practice or adding cash-based services, you have a lot of barriers to actually overcome. But most people know, you know, most people know that they're in pain and they have a problem, and they all have a goal, and they want to fix it and make a true change. But what's stopping them? What's stopping them from choosing us? Okay, why hasn't the change happened already? Why are they staying in pain? What's preventing the change from actually occurring now? And if we can identify these roadblocks and barriers that prevent change from occurring, then we can provide solutions to these things and facilitate change or change someone's behavior, especially to a new concept like cash based physical therapy. So, if you have a chance, this is a great book by Jonah Berger called Catalyst, and he produced this kind of reduce term that goes over these five different strategies or five different barriers that are roadblocks that's stopping people from changing behavior. And if we understand these, then we'll be able to promote a behavior change, especially in a market like physical therapy, and better yet, cash based physical therapy, to help persuade people to make change. So the first one is reactance and being forced to do something or being sold to. No one ever wants that used car salesman, salesy type of person, and no one wants to be forced and told what they have to do for treatment or for pain. Endowment is used to the status quo and the norm. That's definitely up our alley because we're doing a new thing. We're going against the status quo. Distance was zone of acceptance. This is really, is healthcare free or not, and stuff like that. That's the whole thing. Uncertainty and risk, yes. If I'm paying cash for something, we need to do things to minimize risk and minimize the uncertainty. And
That's a
then the last,
big time concern.
yeah, and then the last one's going to be the lack of evidence or proof. Okay, so let's kind of go these step by step, and we're going to provide solutions for you. Okay, being with reactants or being forced or sold to, we need to persuade themselves to allow themselves to take control. Everyone wants to make choices for themselves. So maybe not forcing them to actually do something, but giving them the freedom to search throughout the website. Use tactical empathy. Use terms like, I understand what you're going through. I understand that using your health insurance is very important to you. Using empathy whenever you're talking to people. Create a guided list so they can choose. Okay, give them three options or two options. Okay, like, allow them to choose. I just was I've been consulting with a bunch of like marketers and stuff like that too, and a lot of them will give me a couple options of what to choose to give my business a platform or what strategy that that I want to purchase. If we gave people a choice, maybe it gives them the freedom to choose and they're not feel like they're being forced to buy something. We can highlight the gap of attitude and behavior. Well, you are telling me this and this is really important to you, but this is what we can provide. Also, one that I use a lot is solving the root cause of someone's pain or building trust. And then that can drive change, not just doing like a cookie cutter standard treatment approach or slapping a band aid on a wound, just chasing symptoms, but really solving the root cause of someone's pain. And it makes people, oh, that makes sense. I don't want to do something that just covers up my pain. So you can show them some examples. You can show them the facts and the truth of how to decide. I have a whole video that just highlights how we're different. You can give them video education about the business of healthcare, a deductible video, so you don't have to keep on explaining yourself over and over again about it. The truths about healthcare, cost savings. Give them a guided menu. You can have this, or you can have this. Keep it simple. Highlight what standard care is. You can choose this or you can choose this, and then highlight whatever you provide and make it so it stands out so good that it's a no-brainer for them to choose you. You can compare standard big box cookie cutter approaches compared to your care and use tactical empathy. Okay. But the solution to overcoming this is allowing them to decide what is best for them and giving them the freedom to choose. Endowment, this one's an easy one. Dave and I use this one a lot. You really have to create a lot of value, and we have a whole lecture on this about creating the irresistible offer. We have a like additional course also. But if you're going against the status quo and going against the norm, the point is you have to create a lot of value to differentiate yourself from that standard. And this is going into the value stack and creating an irresistible offer. And some examples are you may have to show like a 2.5x upside versus the downside of what happens if they don't take action or compared to standard care. And then you also could even highlight the cost of not even taking action. Dave and I use this strategy a lot. Dave, any input with this value stacking and like stuff like that? I learned a lot of this from Dave on this one.
There's a lot of ethical tools and phrases, and this is like a whole paradigm. And we have to show a lot more value, and they get this, then they get a posture assessment, they get a movement screen, they get a joint health assessment, all the things that we already do as physical therapists. We do so much. And then also, a home exercise program. You could call that your customized, tailored home exercise program. But we offer so much, so we have to say it, versus if they call an in-network physical therapy practice that takes their insurance, and there's minimal, I don't want to say there's no value, but there's just less value, because it's basically like, hey, do you accept my insurance? And what's my cost per visit? Is it a $20 copay? Is it a $50 copay? And that's it. The front desk person does no selling in an in-network clinic. They don't have to. We have to, and here's how.
Yep. So principles to apply: creating a irresistible offer, a value stack, showing the upside of what happens if they don't take action, and highlight the cost of if they don't choose to take action, or even highlight the cost of what standard care costs. Um, the point is that you're creating a lot of value compared to something that has little to no value, and it makes yourself stand out. So they're like, okay, I'm definitely choosing this guy over here. To promote change, this is whether they believe it's free or not. Should healthcare be covered by everything? We don't really do a lot with this one. The only way that you can kind of combat this is asking less upfront, and decrease the initial cost to them, or offer like a free trial and a free experience. And one of the examples that I've read before with this is like Acura teamed up with a hotel chain and allowed the hotels to drive free Acuras around to experience it, and hoping that when they go to buy a car, they're going to buy an Acura because they really like that experience. Now, this is going to be a big topic to discussion, but I know Dave and I think exactly like on this topic. to do free evals or not, or to do a half off eva or not. And this is
By
my
the way,
point.
anyone that's watching, you guys, you going through this course right now. This again, we talked about at the very beginning, is you invested in this course because you're either trying to get your first 10 private pay patients, people paying you out of pocket, $100 a visit, whatever your rate's going to be. Or if you're watching this, then maybe you're an in-network or you're an insurance-based clinic, but you're trying to get more people to pay you out of pocket for physical therapy, and you're trying to get the next 10 patients to pay you out of pocket, right? So here's a way that I just want to give that as a segue, Ron. So go ahead.
Yeah, no problem. So I'm not a big free eval person, and here's why. Because I've tested this before, offering free evals. You're going to get a lot of people to take you up on this free evaluation, and it's going to get you excited. Like, yes, people are going to come into my clinic, and then they're going to come in, and then you're going to do the eval. You're going to help them out, and then they're going to say, okay, it's $100 a session. They're like, what? No, I'll just take that free eval and I'll take that free home program real quick, and that's it. And your conversion from evals to paying patients is going to be like zilch. Offering free evals, I feel, is just going to attract people who want free stuff. But if you want to incentivize people to take action to come in for an eval, I'm okay doing a half off eval. I use this in my closed Facebook group for runners. I use this on Facebook marketing strategies. I use this on live lectures also. It's okay to do a free eval, or sorry, a half off eval. Thoughts on this one, Dave? What are your thoughts? Free evals versus half off, yay or nay?
You as the person who invested in this course, you're going to learn more and more from us. And you'll hear us have similar, we'll agree on some things, Ron and I, but we will also disagree. Here's one thing where we definitely do agree, because now, unless the person's a big time influencer, then maybe you do offer a completely free evaluation to the person. Now, is that ethical? I mean, that depends on your business and what you want to do. But the upside, the good thing, if you say, here's what my rate is, but I would love to offer you a half off evaluation, right? You're finding buyers, you're finding spenders, someone that, if your rate is going to be $100 per visit to start off with, and you say, hey, my visit rate is $100 per visit. But to get started, because you are,
Yeah,
I just started my practice. I'm doing a cash-based practice on the side outside of your full-time job or something. You could say, hey, I'm looking to get more new clients on the side of my full-time job on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So if you're interested, the first visit would actually be half off as a thank you to you for being one of my first new patients, or for supporting me as I ramp up this new business. And I'm finding someone that's paying rather than someone that's looking for free. So they get a deal. You get a deal in terms of finding someone who pays and as a buyer, and then they already know that for the second visit, third visit, fourth visit is $100 per visit rate. Is that what you were going to say, Ron?
I love that. So Dave gave an example right there of a price anchor. Instead of just giving a free eval to someone or a free discovery visit, I don't even know what that is. I'm not a big discovery visit. It's adding just another step into the simple cash-based system. So I'm not a discovery visit guy. But what Dave did right there was a simple strategy called price anchoring. He's like, normally I charge $100 a visit, but as a way of saying thank you, and I'm trying to start up my practice, I'll be willing to give you a half off eval with this. Plus, you're going to get a home program, and they'll probably say yes to that. So that's the strategy that I would use to incentivize people to take action. I like to stay away from free evals. Most of us just starting out, we all think like that. We all want to do it because it will get more people in. Believe me, I tested it over and over again. It doesn't work. I'd rather stick with the half off evals in this case. So principles apply. Just do the half off eval for like a limited time. Stay away from the free stuff. So the solution is going to be incentivizing them to take action with a half off eval. Uncertainty and risk, which is number 4. We need to make it easy to try, and we need to decrease the amount of risk. Some of you watching this right now may blow your mind, but offer a money back guarantee. This was a game changer, especially when it comes to selling packages or converting complex cases that failed everything else. No one else does this in healthcare. And if you end up going on to take some of our more advanced courses, you'll probably get this in like business 101, or in the creating the irresistible offer. But offering a money back guarantee, that is a phenomenal way to decrease risk. And I think I remember when I mentioned this to Dave for the first time, it like blew his mind. He was like, "Oh my God, that's brilliant. No one else does that."
Nobody. And listen, guys, you're going to have to hear more from us. Maybe you invest in other courses, maybe you come into our mastermind or something, because when I first heard that, I couldn't believe it either. You're hearing it. If you're hearing it for the first time, you probably can't even believe it. Everyone thinks, oh, what if people ask for refunds? What if I can't help people? Whatever. So far, I think we've had one person ever try one visit and say it was a little nefarious, whatever, but then we know that that's not the right person for us. And Ron has had minimal, I mean, maybe one a year, one every 2 years, something where someone buys a package, they get to try 2 visits with Ron Miller, and it wasn't the right fit. It just didn't jive for them, whatever. They asked for a refund, and he gave them the refund back. And now uh, we can do this legally when someone pays out of pocket. If it's through insurance, you can never do that because the insurance is basically the payer, right? So
Correct.
this is legal, this is possible. And if they don't like you, trust you, whatever, or if they don't have a good experience, or they don't think you're the right provider, or they don't think that you can really help them, then they might ask for their money back. But it's going to convert significantly more people to give you a try for that first 50% off of Val, or full rate of Val moving forward. So that's why we do it. You're going to have to hear more from us in the future to really let it digest and soak in, because it's not something that's taught in physical therapy school, or in anything that we learn as physical therapists and business owners.
Yeah. Number three is also important: patient story testimonials. This is probably the number one thing I hear on the phone, is that they're like, "Man, I saw your testimonials online, and you had so many that I called to take action." And it's not, "Do you take my health insurance?" Understanding the value of great testimonials that are results based and getting your patients to tell their story will decrease uncertainty and risk of that prospective patient who's had chronic back pain that's failing everything, and they read a testimonial of someone saying that exact same thing that's in their head of what they're thinking. They're like, boom, that's it. And then they'll call and be like, "I read this testimonial and it was exactly what I had, and I decided to call." And they're ready and willing to go. So understanding testimonials and the concept of testimonials, again, you got to get your testimonial process down. Another, like a fourth strategy here, is drive discovery by teaming up with other local businesses. If you want to treat runners, you need to be getting out there with the running shoe stores and the running groups, and getting out there so that group can refer people to you, and it becomes like a word of mouth referral. Okay. If you want to start treating golfers, you got to be out there with the golfers. Okay. So, um, examples of principles to apply: the money back guarantee, follow the testimonial process, and reach out to other local businesses, because the patients will trust them. So when they refer to you, it's more like a word of mouth referral. And we all want more word of mouth referrals because they're really easy to sell and they're ready and committed to pay. So the number one thing here is the money back guarantee. In a cash based system, you can definitely do it, and it works awesome. The need for evidence and proof, the last barrier, really, you need to show results and kind of social proof. Is there awards out there you won? Are you voted the top physical therapy clinic? What type of social proof do you have? What other badges? Whatever advanced training? Any kind of badge or reward or trophy that you received, definitely put that out there. You need to get that social proof that you're at that elite level, or it's a high quality product, or that it's been recognized through other brands and other well-known representative things, kind of like Yelp and like Google and stuff like that. Testimonials, again, having a results-based testimonial is going to be plenty of evidence, and better yet, having 217 5-star reviews, that's going to speak even more words like there too. Timing of testimonials. So in my process, after the eval process, when someone leaves and they're deciding whether they want to pay $3,600 for their treatment, they get a matched testimonial. If that patient came in for back pain, they're getting a testimonial of a back pain patient sent to them as a part of our process and system of converting evals to paying patients. So the timing of testimonials that are matched to that patient specific, I mean, there's so much that you can do with that. And then if you don't have a lot of testimonials, show them research support, quote research articles on a blog post, or even show it to them about the research and what's best practice for them, or whether they need something. Okay, so principles to apply for this: follow the testimonial process. Local local business listings. You guys should be targeting Google business, Facebook pages, Yelp pages. Those are the top three that I like. Also look at Bing and Yahoo, and then even show them research support. But to solve the lack of evidence, you got to go with the testimonial. So here's 4 action steps that you can use right now to help you overcome barriers of what your prospective patients are thinking. Give them the freedom to choose, give them options, create an irresistible offer and a value stack, offer a money back guarantee, and execute on the testimonial process. And we have a whole course on the testimonial process where you get our strategies and our blueprint of how we maximize testimonials. Some things to
Just,
think about. Oh, good.
just a little thing there, guys. Testimonial process. When Ron says we have a whole course for it, it's because you don't want someone to write, "Dave was good, thanks." Right? So that you
Yeah.
want the ones that are very descriptive and talk about before I met Dr. Ron Miller, I could even get out of bed, and now I'm able to get back to CrossFit. And describe things that when someone else reads it, another future prospective patient reads it on Google or Yelp or on your website or whatever, they see the narrative, they see the story, they read it and they're like, oh wow, that sounds like me. I'm going to call that person. So just a little
Yeah.
thing there, and then Ron can get into the next section on this slide.
Yeah. And some pending things for you to think about: free evals, half off evals, and price anchoring. So again, most people are stuck here. They have the problems, they have the questions, and they have the roadblocks. And they want to get to here. And that's where the results are. So this slide is very important. Okay. To drive action and create behavior change, we need to show them that we can solve their problems. We need to provide the answers to their questions. We need to remove the roadblocks and barriers that we just discussed. Because then, and if then, once they believe that you can get them results, then they take action. Then they're going to go across that bridge. Then they're going to make change. Then they're going to call. Then they're going to buy from you. Okay. We have to show them these answers and these solutions so they believe that we can get them results and we can help them. Okay. This is a very important, it's basic, it's simple, but it's a foundation of what we need to grasp in order to get these patients to take action and call, because this is what our marketing sales copy is going to do. Okay, if we understand this stuff, this is how we're going to market and do sales copy. It's going to bridge the gap from the problems, the questions, and the roadblocks to the results. Okay, and this is what our marketing is going to do in our sales copy. Another word for sales copy is just writing headlines or writing sentences and using those words and phrases to get them to scroll down or to take action. For some of you who don't know sales copy is, it's just the actual written material. So here's a marketing drill for you. You can hit stop right now, sit down and write down your ideal patient's top 5 problems. Write down those top 5 questions that they may have. What are 2 to 5 roadblocks do they have? Write down 5 results of what your patients want. So you'll clearly know what to use in your sales copy and in your marketing. Okay. Some of my examples here, I'm not going to go over this right now, but these are examples for each of my niche markets that you can hit pause and just kind of look at the problems, the questions, the roadblocks, and results. And I did this for each one of my niche markets. Okay. So now whenever I describe or try to write a marketing strategy to target my niche, I know exactly what I want to address. Okay. So I've done this for each one of my niche markets. So when I write up a strategy or a landing page, I know exactly what to focus on. Okay. So we're going to use these things to write our headlines and our sales copy. And this will allow us to have laser focused messages with our marketing that's going to relate to that niche market and that ideal patient on what they're emotionally feeling, thinking, and what pain that they're going through right now. So now we clearly know our ideal patient or our ideal patient avatar when we go through all of these things. And I know that it was a lot, but this is an essential first step in your marketing strategy. We're going to end up going over some of this stuff faster now, but this is the most important first step. If you're going to design a marketing strategy, you have to clearly identify your ideal patient. And I'm sorry if I went too far on the roadblocks and the barriers, but I think it's a really essential step that if we understand what roadblocks and barriers that we have to deal with a cash-based physical therapy service, that we're really going to be able to get people to take action and say yes to paying cash, and we're going to remove those roadblocks,
And then the rest is easier.
and the rest is easier. Yep. Okay. And again, Steve Jobs, you've said you got to start with what? The customer. So you have to know your customer. Okay. Before you start doing anything else, you got to understand the customer. Okay. So the next step is, where are your patients at? Okay. Now since we identified who we want to target, now we got to identify where are they? Where is your ideal patient at? And that's step two. Are they at a gym? Are they at country clubs? Are they working for a company? Are physicians seeing my ideal patients? Are they playing a certain sport? Are they even on social media? Are they in a Facebook group? Are they listening to podcasts? Where are your ideal patients at? Okay, so this is where we're going to break down groups, interests, and keywords. Okay, so if you ask yourself, where are my patients at? What type of groups are they a part of? Are they in a club? Are they in a Facebook group? Are they networks? Are they at a gym? What type of interests do they like? Are they a local influencer? Are they on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube? Do they listen to podcasts? Better yet, do they listen to the radio or read the newspaper once? One time I was on the front page of the local newspaper, and all of a sudden I had like 5 phone calls from past patients who were all wealthy, affluent business owners, and uber successful. So if you want to target that group, you may want to think about doing a newspaper ad. Okay, so are they on Google? Are they searching on YouTube for solutions for stuff? Are they looking on Google doing, active searches to try to find a solution for their pain? So an example here, a lot of people want to target golfers. Okay, so groups, you're going to look at country clubs, maybe Facebook groups. You're going to go to the PJ Superstore somehow. We have PJ Superstores down here, and they're starting to spread throughout the nation. It's a huge. It's like the Walmart version of golf and tennis in this huge store, or even going to the annual PJ event. Okay, these are groups where the golfers are at. Interest, they obviously look at golf. They watch golf videos, they're in golf clubs, followed by social media. You can create a social media platform, just talk about golf and golf techniques, injury prevention, even use Facebook ads to target golfers. Okay. Keyword searches, how to videos. These people may be on Google also. You can also look at other things like TPI certifications. You can look at like Titleist, Ping, TaylorMade, other golf companies, golf performance searches, junior golf leagues, .com tour golf performance coaches, golfing events. See, like there's so much to do, but you got to ask yourself, where are my patients at? This is an example one of affluent people in pain. Okay, this is an example breakdown of what I did for my niche market. Okay, so here's another section here. You can hit stop here, divide your paper into 3 groups, look at groups, interests, and searches. Okay, and take each niche market and identify what groups are my niche market in. What is my niche market interested in? And are they online searching for anything? Okay, any thoughts or feedback on this one?
No, it's great, and it's a good drill to do. You guys definitely have to do it. So pause this video and write it out.
Okay, so step 2 is definitely identify where your ideal patients are at. So now we're going to go to step 3. How do I get in front of my patient? Okay, so we need to choose the best media strategy to target them. So now we know what our niche is, and then we know where they're at. Now, how do I get in front of them? There's all sorts of different types of communication media: in person, live lecture, mail, phone, email, video, webinar. There's lots of different things that we can choose. But you need to choose the strategy that's going to get in front of the group. Okay. So, what are some of the best techniques to get in front of groups? A guest lecture, a seminar, join a Facebook group, network with other local businesses, a podcast, webinars. How do I get in front of the interest? Okay, you can get in front of local influencers who have huge followings online. Do paid Facebook ads. Facebook is a great strategy to target niches and certain interests because it categorizes everything. You can get them to follow your own social media, even the radio or like a newspaper ad. Keyword searches. Now, this is going to be more for Google and YouTube again. You can be on your local business listing, online reviews, SEO, which is search engine optimization, which you can go into with your website using specific keywords. Google pay per click ads. Dave and I use a lot of that. Website, YouTube content. Okay. These are all strategies that you can use to get in front of uh, your ideal patient or your niche market. Okay. Now, the one concept to understand versus search versus interrupt is searching. Yes, search marketing. Dave and I love this because they come to you. These are more hot leads that are actively searching for a solution. And the
Right.
key is here they're actively searching. The problem is they may be comparing your option with your competitions. Okay, they're looking at price versus quality versus niche versus location. They may be actively searching against you. Versus an interrupt is when you kind of pretty much you need to grab their attention big time because you're just going to pop up and the consumer doesn't even know what you are, or they're not even actively searching for you. So the hard part there is to try to convert them. Okay, so that's the main difference between search and interrupt marketing. But I really like this quote: selling to people who actually want to hear from you is more effective than interrupting strangers who don't. So that's one of the reasons why Dave and I really like the search marketing strategy, because these people are actively searching for stuff. Some examples of search marketing that we really like to do is maximize your local business listings, doing paid Google ads, YouTube searches, doing like a live lecture or a seminar, and maybe dabbing into like a Facebook ad or something like that. But these are the top examples of search and interrupt marketing of what we like to do. And again, I put down an example here of a affluent group strategy. These are some ideas of what I would do to target affluent people, which is one of my niche markets. Okay. Um, and then this is an example of an interest strategy of what I do to target affluence people who what their interest is. Hint, they do read newspaper ads still. They may not be on social media as much, but they're definitely on Google looking. A lot of these patients are definitely searching for who is the best person to treat my pain, or best sciatica treatment, or best neck pain treatment. So, step three is going to be decide what platform or media is best to reach your target patient. Okay, so a key tip here: marketing principles will never change, but the media and the way that we do interact with them does. So if you're watching this video from like 5 years from now, things have changed. Things have changed since I've started a practice. Okay, but the principles never change. Okay, just your platform may. Who knows? Facebook may be done by the time that someone's watching this in a couple years. So just to recap, we identify your ideal niche market, we find out where your patients are at, and then we choose the best platform and the media strategy to target them. Okay, so the next question is, what problem are we going to solve for them? Okay, so remember, we've already gone over some of these psychographics. Most people are stuck here with the problems, the questions, and the roadblocks, and they want to get here. And our sales copy and marketing is going to bridge that gap. We already know the psychographics already. But step four is going to be clearly identify their problems and what they really want. Okay. What is the reason? What is their why? And what pain points and emotional triggers are going to get them to drive to take action? Okay. So we've already done that drill of what's going on in their head and like what they're thinking about. But this is an important tip because a lot of people try to sell themselves and sell what they do. The marketing should be all about the patient and their problems and their why. Any feedback on this one, Dave, that you've seen before? We see so many people that just start marketing about themselves, about their credentials and their training,
Yeah,
but
no, I mean it's crazy to think, but your prospective patients, guys, they don't care about the Con Ed courses you went to. Sometimes they might look for someone that does McKenzie, but it's rare. Sometimes they look for someone that does Graston, but it's rare. It's very, very rare. But most people, 80, 90+% of the time, care about themselves only. That is the nature of business. That is the nature of marketing. So the headlines need to say, we we help New Yorkers, we help busy New Yorkers like you get pain-free, balanced, and back to normal so that you can avoid injections, painkillers, and surgery. So
yeah.
I use the word you 2 times, and that's why it's in red here, meaning it's about their pain points, their problems, their why. It's always about the consumer, the customer, and that is part of the theme through this whole course and beyond.
Yeah. So here's a simple drill to identify their why. People make decisions based off of these things to make money, to save time. These are Dave's clients right here. Save time,
Right?
avoid effort, escape mental and physical pain, get more comfort, attain better health. People make choices, or these are some of the simple goals of what they want. So here's a great slide that you guys can use to identify 5 to 10 ways that your service can help them make money. How, what physical pain can I eliminate for them, and what does it mean for their life and their business? Get, take some time, go through these questions, and you can write out 5 to 10 statements for your ideal niche market. Most people are like, wait, how do I save money, or how do I help them make money? We can help you get pain free so you can focus better at work, exceed your productivity, and become a high performer, making more money than you ever had before. That's how I help someone make money. Okay, so you can break down any of these statements and help you write good headlines and good copy. And as a general tip here too, people are either moving towards pleasure or away from pain. So you can decide your marketing strategy. Are you going to highlight pain and almost the negative to pull them away from it, or focus on more of the positive, also moving towards pleasure and like what they want? So as a general marketing message, this is a key tip just to keep in mind as you start writing sales copy. Are you going to focus on the positive, or going away from the actual negative? But you can hit stop here again, take some time, look over these questions, and start writing out a drill. 5 to 10 ways on each one of these questions, and you'll notice that you'll start to get better and better at writing these. And these are your headlines. These can be your headlines that you're going to use on your Facebook ads, on your landing pages, and everything. And this will help you capture that patient's attention and get them to start scrolling down through, or to opt in, or to take action. And you're going to be able to relate by using those psychographics and what they're thinking and turn it into sales copy to get them to take action. So step 4 is going to be identify their emotional pain points and what they really want. Okay. So we're a little more than halfway through. I know it's long. You guys can always stop and press pause and join us later after you get a drink or something like that. But this is all essential stuff that's going to build your marketing strategy together, so you guys can really start getting your cash paying patients coming in and ready and willing to say yes. Okay, so let's move on to step 5. So this is another important one. Where are you going to drive traffic to, and how are you going to capture leads? Okay, so step 5 is going to be, you need to create a system to guide traffic to and to be able to capture leads. So there's two main concepts that Dave and I want to go over here. and you need to understand the concept of traffic, conversions, and leads. So, Dave, how would you define a conversion for them?
So it really depends on what it is in terms of a conversion could be something as simple as someone goes to your website. If so, this is assuming if you have a website, you have a website for your cash-based practice, your private pay practice, and they complete a form to download a low back pain ebook, or they complete a web form. They put their name and their email and their phone number, or just name and email to submit a question to you, the specialist. If they submit their information in exchange, so they're going to put their name and their email or their phone number into your website in exchange for an equally valuable thing. That could be a downloadable PDF. It could be the 3 best exercises for low back pain self-care in your home. It could be to ask the specialist a question. There's a ton of different things, but whatever that could be, that's called a conversion. So someone comes to your website, that would be the traffic part. And the conversion would be there's a conversion event, an exchange of their contact information for some piece of value. Same type of thing in terms of conversion, could also be for phone calls. We'll get into all of that. But basically the conversion, that's on the top of my head for what a conversion would be. Then of course, for every 100 people that go to your website and X amount of people call you from a button on your website, that would technically be a conversion as well. And then however you get those people in front of you, they would be leads. And if your friend refers you their neighbor for physical therapy, there's not going to be that online website conversion, but they still become a lead, right? So hopefully, Ron, did I
That's
describe that
perfect.
clearly?
Yeah, perfect. I mean, that's good. So a conversion can be from a landing page, it can be from your website, it can be from an opt-in form, it can be just a join a group, any kind of action that you drop people on and get them to take a certain action. And then leads, I view a lead as a phone call, an email, a message inquiry, or an opt-in form or something like that. So some examples, you could have high traffic but a poor conversion, and you're not going to get leads. Okay. You could have low traffic and a perfect conversion, and you're still not going to get leads. The purpose of this is that you have to fix all two or three of these steps in order to make it work. And because one, if one thing is broke, the whole system is broke, which kind of sucks. But you have to
And we
understand,
call that we call that a bottleneck. So you got to figure out where the bottlenecks are.
yeah, or the broken link is, because if one
Right.
step is broken, it's not going to work. The optimal example is to get high traffic, a great conversion, and you're going to get a lot of leads. Okay. So when creating a system, step two is you have to understand the patient's awareness and buyer's pyramid. These are just some marketing examples of things that you just have to understand that not everyone's ready to take action. Okay. So this is the buyer's pyramid of a market. Okay. And this could be everyone in pain right now in Orlando. 3% of people are actively searching for a solution at a given time. Only 3%. That's not a lot. 7% of people are your ideal patient, but they're open to your service, but they're on the fence on it. Then the next 30% are not thinking about your service at all, but they may need you. Okay. The next 30% are don't know about your services and aren't really interested. But maybe 3 to 6 months later, whenever they get an injury, maybe they are. And the last 30% is hell no. It's not even an option. Okay. But understanding this, that Dave and I have built marketing strategies just off of the top 10% through doing Google ads and stuff like that. So a 3% of the market share is still a huge piece of the market for our practice, that you don't have to reach all of these people, but the top 10% are more direct response marketing. You could drop someone on a sciatica pain page and get them to take action right now, or Parkinson's balance program or a Parkinson's treatment program and get them to take action. More of the 30% or the lower 30% is more lead gen. These people are not ready to take action, but you can get them to follow you over time, and maybe whenever they're ready they can take action, or maybe whenever they get injured maybe they take action. And that's the main difference between lead gen that takes longer versus direct response marketing. The next concept of what we want to go over is the difference between the solution awareness versus pain awareness. Solution awareness is a person that's in pain that is ready to take action and is searching for the solution to their problem. Okay, they're asking themselves, I'm in pain. Who's the best neck pain treatment Orlando? Versus pain awareness is they're in pain, but they may not be ready to take action. They're searching online for like what causes back pain? What are some causes of SI joint pain? How to fix SI joint pain? But some of these people that are in pain awareness phase may not be ready to take action. So these are the different phases of patient awareness. And this could be roughly the top 40% of that last pyramid that we just talked about. Okay, some people start out, they're in mild pain, it's annoying, but it's not a problem yet. They're in pain, but they're not ready to take action. Next step is going down is pain aware. They have a problem, but don't know how to solve it. Okay. The next step is they're in pain, they're solution aware, but they don't know about you. They may start looking for you. And the next step is in pain. They see your brand, but don't know why you're actually better or not. Okay, that's one of the barriers that we discussed. And you can kind of differentiate yourself and create an irresistible offer and clearly show how you are better than other people. The next step is they're in pain who know your brand but aren't committed to buy yet. And then the last one is in pain, they know who you are, they see you as the expert, and they're ready and willing to buy. It takes time to get to that expert status with a recognized brand. But these are the different phases of patient awareness. And better yet, what does this actually look like? This looks like a funnel. So many of you have probably heard about funnels before, and you may not, or you may have known about funnels, but this is pretty much getting someone to opt in. And over a period of time, you take them through each stage of those patient awareness phases. So you could take this and design your email campaign or your education campaign based off of those different phases of patient awareness, and you could write up some copy based off of those off of each phase. So this is an example of my evergreen webinar. I'm trying to target people that are in pain awareness. They're not ready to take action. They can opt into a landing page, go to a webinar, and see my get an insider's look of how we do things, and it creates value through each phases of those awareness thing and get them to take action eventually, maybe like 2 weeks out. Okay, so funnels can be really, really complex, like this one, with retargeting everywhere and going through 5, 6 different steps. Um,
It's very advanced. Don't get
yeah,
overwhelmed with that.
yeah. You can create it simple, okay? And to keep it simple, you're gonna have three basic types. You're gonna nurture and educate over a long period of time, or you can capture their information, get them to opt in and convert maybe in a week or two, maybe through an email system, or even a Facebook group, maybe. Or you can do a call now to convert. Now, a call now, those people are going to be more solution aware. Maybe these capture and the top two are going to be more pain aware patients. Okay. So this is something that you have to think about as you start designing your actual strategy. So where do I want to drive traffic to? Okay. So this is a perfect example. This is a landing page for my closed Facebook group called Orlando Runners Therapy. It's a closed Facebook group that's on Facebook, and I can drive traffic to that page and get people to opt in. People on Facebook are not solution aware. They're more pain aware, and people on Facebook are going to take more time to convert. Okay, so this is an example page that I would do to nurture those people or to get them just to opt in, and over time, maybe they'll take action. So a quick difference here is what's the difference between a website and a landing page and a sales page and funnels? Because Ron and Dave, you're throwing out these terms and I don't even know what they are. So a website, we all know what a website is, but the common mistake of what Dave and I see a lot is the goal of the website is not to talk about yourself. The goal of the website is one goal, is to get the people on the website to take action and call. So you don't want to just a general website talking about things. You want that person who's in pain to see your website and go through your website and call. So we have to make it easy for them to be able to call. and not just have a website that just talks about us, but talks about the patients and gets them wanting to choose us to treat their symptoms. A landing page is kind of like segmenting people into one page. Like, this is the header for my Satica page. This is where I drive all Satica traffic to this landing page. If you're going to target golfers, you need a golfers page. You don't want to send that traffic onto a general website page. You want to be segmented and be more specific and drive all your lower back pain stuff to your low back page, all of your Parkinson's stuff to a Parkinson's page and stuff like that. A sales page is more of a long sales letter where it takes them through the psychology of identifying the problem, agitating the problem, providing the solution, and then the call to action, stuff like that. A sales page is like a long sales letter almost. Excuse me. But the key here is you need to segment your traffic and match it to your actual strategy. So here's an example of a sales Satica page for me. Okay, same thing with before. I'm gonna drive traffic to the actual sales page, and if 100 people go to that page, how many of them can I actually convert into a lead? Excuse me.
Gosh.
I'm gonna have to go get some water. So social media. This is an example of you're just going to nurture and educate. People who just follow you aren't ready to take action. You can use YouTube channel as a place to educate and nurture. You can use your Facebook page or your Instagram page. A lot of people aren't ready to take action off of this, but you're going to get them. They're going to follow you. They're going to like your content, and you're going to nurture and educate them over a time, and then they may take action. An example of the opt-in to kind of convert is, this is always a stupid little thing that I always do, because let's face it, we need to get creative with our social media content because physical therapy is not really cool. This is an example of a Facebook Live with pro golfer Andrew Beef Johnson in a pub in England wearing a Wu-Tang shirt and a Pittsburgh Pirate hat. And he gets 1 million views. And I'm doing a Facebook Live talking about physical therapy and how to fix shoulder pain, and I get 2. So we're not really cool, but we really need to get creative with our content and focus on what the patient wants and what they value to get them incentivized. This is an example of how to convert and get them to opt in, and then I convert them over time. So someone has to opt into my Facebook group, and then they get to see my content. I get to incentivize and maybe put a half off eval in there, and I can get people in every month, and then they can call and take action every month. So this is where they have to opt in. I get their email address. They get an email drip system also, and I use the Facebook group to engage with them, educate them, and get them to convert. Same thing here. Evergreen. This is my landing page for my Evergreen webinar. I'm targeting people who are pain aware, not ready to take action, but are curious about it, or have some questions for me, and they can come into this free webinar and get an insider's look of what we do. And hopefully the purpose of this webinar is to get them to convert to be solution aware to take action. Here's our Throwers Velocity program. This is a webinar targeting pitchers who want to increase their velocity. Okay, they opt in for a free webinar. The webinar is going to do the actual conversion to generate leads. Here's an example of a running injury lecture that I did, a live lecture or like a lunch and learn talking to runners. I'm going to get them to come in. I'm driving traffic to it. I get so many people to show up. Those are all opportunities right there. And it's up to me in my lecture to convert those people into actual leads, to convert them into a paying patient. This is my telehealth landing page. Again, I'm just getting people to opt in and sign up. This is more of a call now, take action type of thing. This is a landing page. You've seen this one before. But the key is that you have to design strategy to drive traffic to a certain page. Okay. You got to go back to where your patient's at and what is the best media strategy to get in front of them for that. There's going to be different types and different strategies for different types of niche markets. Okay. Some examples really quick of how to drive traffic. You can use social media to backlinks to certain landing pages. You can do a direct response mailer with a QR code where they just scan it and it takes them to a landing page. You can do an email blast with a link back to more information. You, YouTube videos, all of your YouTube videos should have backlinks to your websites. And if the video's about plantar fasciitis, you need to drop them on a plantar fasciitis page. Okay. Online website SEO and website content to show up on searches, organic website content, sharing a blog content to drive traffic to a website. That's a great way. Opt-in pages with a lead magnet for a subscription email system. That's what Dave mentioned earlier about going over conversions. It's a great way to get conversions is in exchange for their email, you're going to give them something of valuable content. It's called a lead magnet. Doing paid traffic, Dave and I do that a lot with Google pay per click or Facebook ads, but we're all linking them to a sales page. If Dave's doing a Parkinson's ad, he's dropping one on Parkinson's landing page, not your
Right.
website. Um, In-person seminar opt-in page to get people to RSVP to a live lecture. Retargeting on Facebook to our contact us page, a last call email, webinar sign up page, Instagram page. Your Instagram pretty much links back to your website, but with certain content, you can change the actual URL in the link in your profile to drop them on certain pages. It is kind of annoying and stuff like that, but there's like ways around it using Linktree and stuff. Your Google business listing, all your posts on there should be linked back to either your website or to specific pages. But you guys get the point. There's a lot of different strategies that you can drive traffic, free or paid, to certain pages. Okay, so here, if I'm doing Satica, this is what I'm doing to drive traffic to my Satica page. And if 100 people go on that page, how many of these people am I going to be able to convert? The conversion is the hard part. And this is where your sales pages, your seminars and everything are going to be really important. Okay. And this is where you're going to understand if you're going to nurture and educate them, it's going to take months to get a conversion. If you're going to capture an opt-in to convert, depends on how good your content is going to decide on whether you convert them in a week or two. And to call now, you really have to establish yourself as the expert and get them create pretty much a no-brainer for them to take action and ready to go. So the question is, if 100 people go to my landing page who have Satica, how many of them convert? If I'm driving traffic to my closed Facebook group and I'm getting 20 people joining a month, how many of them per month are actually taking action? If I'm doing a live seminar at a running shoe store and 30 people RSVP to my live lecture, how many of those people convert to a paying eval? Same thing. If I'm doing a live seminar for a lunch and learn, if 20 people RSVP, how many of them actually convert to leads? This is the important part of the conversion that Dave was talking about earlier. If 100 people sign up for my throwing webinar, how many of those people convert and call and take action? For my evergreen webinar, same thing. Or if 4,000 people go to my website, is my website going to convert people or not? So you, as you're designing your marketing strategy, you really have to decide on what system and funnel is best for your strategy and best for your ideal patient. Any feedback, tips, or concepts on that one, Dave?
No, it's great, great stuff. Keep it rolling.
Good. So what is the key to get them to take action? Is creating a call to action. This is most people's problems in the PT. People say that their Google Analytics say that they're going to the website or they're going to the page. They're horrible at conversions, so they don't get conversions here. So what's the key to getting someone to take action? What is the end goal of what the prospective patient is supposed to take? So this is from Google's recommendations. Homepage as best in class call to actions. You need to have a clear call to action indicator. On a mobile version, it has to be like you should tap it and you should be able to easily get access to it, like a button or like click here. A clear value proposition, top categories in the homepage, legible fonts, These are things that Google has posted. No full page interstitials, and that's the like rotating thing. No more of that stuff. You want it clear, focused, and to the point. There should be one main call to action for every landing page or sales page. One clear opt-in version. Okay, don't give them multiple things. Maybe on the website only, but everything else should be one clear call to action. Here, examples on the website, ready to get pain free. That's a clickable button on the mobile. If anyone sees this and wants to go, they could click right there. I have get started today that are clickable buttons that allow someone, if they want to take action, I'm making it really easy for them to take action throughout the website. Here we go. I have a website footer that's on every single page here of my website. It makes it really easy for them to take action. What does Google say about copy and buttons? I mean, just changing the copy of a button can increase your click through rate by a lot. Look at this example saying start free trial versus get started now. So just changing your buttons can can incentivize people to click and take action. Look at some of the buttons that I use. This is my webinar button. Get your free webinar pass now. Yes, I want access to the free webinar. I got this strategy from Dave, where Dave was like, you want them to say yes, you want them to be positive with this. Any feedback on those buttons?
I mean, again, there'll be more and more with future stuff, but you want the button to say the end part of the end result of what they're either looking for or what they're shooting for. So even this could be, if it's talking about pain relief, it could say something like, "Yes, I want to start getting pain relief," or "Yes, I want to take my first step in getting pain relief," or "Yes, I want access to this pain relieving webinar," something like that, right? So the old school buttons would be submit or register, and
Yeah,
that's it. But you can have buttons that actually provide a little more ethical persuasion and using some psychology. And that's what's, in terms of sales copy, sales words and phrases, that is, it's psychologically, it's nudging them to take the action that we know they probably want to take anyway.
perfect. Again, copy and buttons, benefit oriented ones. The original is just sign up. And just as
Yep.
Dave said, sign up and
Yep.
get the best daily tips. Sign up and get pain free. So here's some other examples. Here's a sign up, act fast. Here's an example of a last call email in my email drip system. When someone is signing up for something, I have like a 7 to 13 step email system that on the last one, this is the last call where I'm incentivizing them that there's only one one slot left to call now ASAP. And the copy that I use is pretty much promoting urgency here. Same thing. Yes, I want to schedule now. If someone's interested in a telehealth consult, the button says yes, I want to schedule. The wham bam, thank you, ma'am. This is like a gold mine here to show them the irresistible offer. If someone's going through the whole page and they're questioning whether they want to decide to go there, this was something that Dave taught me was invaluable. I mean, it was so good that you can clearly outline you can have this or this, and then just line up the value that they're going to get and create so much value that it's a no-brainer to get someone to pay cash. So this is an example of a value stack that I do at the end of a seminar or a webinar. I show them exactly what they're going to get. It's going to be way more than what they'll get in standard care. And at my competition, you can add a value stack and a price anchor, and then you offer it for a reduced amount, which is 165, which is my rate, and it incentivizes them to take action and they get started. So that's an example of a value stack. A good call to action is going to solve this problem, and this is what most PTs have. They say the same thing. There's people going to my page, but no one's clicking or no one's calling. So understanding a call to action and good sales copy is going to solve that for you. Here are some call to action examples that you can do to help incentivize people to take action. As I said before, a live lecture, you could do the value stack, you could do a half off eval, Facebook ads, you can have an opt-in for a huge deal. Landing page opt-ins, you're going to get them opt-in for a good lead magnet. Free educational videos, click here. Webinar sign up, opt-in. A closed Facebook group, they can educate, and then you offer a deal, maybe a half off eval. Your specific landing pages for a pay-per-click is going to be your strategy. You're going to decide whether you want them to call now or opt in. But the real question is, does your strategy convert traffic into leads? That's what you're going to have to solve. So to answer this Satica thing, if we go back to my Satica example, I got 100 people with Satica going to my Satica landing page, and I get 10 leads from there. I have a direct call to now that they're going to take action, and I also do a Facebook retargeting campaign to get them to take action. Okay, and there's a specific series that I'm going to pop like eight different results-based testimonials that are all Satica that are getting retargeted with this funnel. And if 100 people come to this page, I want at least 10 people to convert to leads, and they take action and they call or email. Because at the end, you want high traffic, a good conversion, and great leads. Okay. So step 6 is going to be create a simple and clear call to action that's going to drive your patients to that next step. Remember, this is going back to that same thing. We want to drive action and create a behavior change. We want to show them that we can solve their problems, provide their answers, and remove the roadblocks. So they believe that we can fix them and we can help them. That's going to drive action and get them to make a change and to call. So we got our 6 steps here, and we're moving on to the last one. Okay. So the last step, excuse me, is one of my favorite. I'm a numbers guy. So track your stats and measure your ROI. This is the final step of your marketing strategy. And one of the biggest errors is that most PTs just get caught up in marketing and they're like, my goal is just leads. I just want leads. I just want leads, and that's it. But they don't even think about it from an entrepreneur's perspective or a business owner's perspective. So Dave and I want to take it to another level. We want to create that goose that gives us the golden goose egg every day. And think of it like this: when you invest money on marketing, the goal is not to just get that same thing back, but the goal is like 5x it, 10x it. You invested $99 on this training. So we want you to be able to get 10x, 9x, 14x from this. If you spend $100, can you get 300? We want your marketing strategy to be a cash cow funnel, or a program or a system that you can invest $1,000 in and make 10 back. That's how you have to start thinking of marketing. And is your systems in place? Is each step in place that once it's proven, you can invest some money in it, time, paid ads, whatever, and get 10x out of it? That's how you have to start thinking of marketing. And this is what you got to start thinking about with this cash-based system. If you're going to invest time and money in marketing, by the time you go through this whole system, is there an increase in dollar sign at the end? Okay. We're not trying to spend 1,000 to make 1,000. You want to invest 1,000 in your marketing strategy to get 10x back, to make 20,000, stuff like that. So these are some examples of marketing stats of what you can what you can assess and analyze through your marketing funnels, through your marketing strategy, because the truth is going to be in the numbers. It's not just hoping that leads are going to come in. Okay, because remember, whenever one of these steps is broken, the numbers are going to show of what step it's actually broken at. Okay, so looking at cost, impressions, click-through rate, landing page visits, conversion rates, leads, and then your process in your cash system is your evals and new patients. Okay, so the numbers are going to show you where the problem is. So let's go over some examples. So if you're only getting 20 people going to your website, you have a traffic problem. You're not marketing or doing anything to drive traffic to your website, so you're not going to get any leads. If you run a Satica campaign and you're driving good traffic to your page and you get 500 people going to your page, but no one's calling, that means that your Satica landing page is broke and needs to be adjusted. Okay. If for my evergreen webinar, I'm driving good traffic to it, I get 100 people going to the page, but no one opts in, and I'm getting no leads from it. That means my landing page is broke, and I'm not creating value that someone wants to opt in for. I need to change the actual page. But if I do that same strategy and 100 people go to it and 30 people opt in and then no people convert, that's my email drip system, or it's my webinar and it's broken. Okay. The truth is going to be in the numbers, and each step it's going to highlight where the problem is, because once you solve it, then you're going to be able to solve fix it and then solve it. If your cash-based systems here and your marketing generates 11 leads and you pick up the phone and you can't convert any of them into evals, you have a sales problem. And you may have to look into our sales 101 training, where we give you our phone call process and our eval process and our sales scripts and stuff like that. If you don't know how to sell, you should be able to convert 20%. If you know how to sell, you should be able to convert 70%, almost 80%. And that's what Dave and I's sales 101 course goes over. It goes all the sales strategies there. Same thing here. If you have 11 leads, but you convert 5 of them to evals, but you can't convert any of them into paying patients, that means you have an evaluation sales process problem, that you don't know how to convert that eval to a new paying patient.
And real quick, what Ron means there is a plan of care. So a second, a third, fourth visit, assuming if they needed it, right? So they paid the 5 evaluations, they paid out of pocket for Ron Miller's $165 evaluation. And let's say if someone required a plan of care, assuming those 5 people required multiple visits or multiple weeks or months of physical therapy, and if none of those become committed to your plan of care that they normally would get in an in-network clinic, a drawn out plan of care, whatever they need for whatever their simple or complex situation is, then like what Ron said, there's a deficit, or there's something that needs to be tweaked with your evaluation process, what you're saying and what you're doing on that first evaluation visit, and setting up the rest of that. But we can go more into that.
Yeah, and the eval process is in sales 101, and we
Right,
also
right.
go over a lot of like the plan of care stuff in the increased profits and salary course, or even in business 101. I keep my systems simple. It's either easy or complex case. Easy case is 165 a session, and we do what's best for the patient regardless, and maybe they're done in 2 to 6 sessions. If it's a complex case, we do packages where people pay 1,800, 2,600, or 3,600, depending on the complexity of their case. And that's all stuff that we go through the systems and process and some of the advanced courses. But yes, as Dave stated, that's evals converted to a paying patient who's completing their plan of care. On that one, oh, the point is with this one is, in the big system, in the big picture, you don't want to spend $1,000 to make $1,000. I will never forget this. The one time where a patient told me, a therapist who we were consulting with, told me, "Yeah, my marketing is working. I spent $700. Yeah, and I got $700 back." And I was like, "That's not working." I was like,
And
"That's
on the front end, Ron, me on the left side of your screen right here, guys, the $1,000 would be $1,000 into Google ads, or $1,000 into Facebook ads, or $1,000 into whatever marketing effort. And if it comes out $1,000 on the other side, like you got 2 new patients and the total amount of visits and everything grossed $1,000, you're breaking even and probably losing a bit in terms of time and everything in between. So that's what Ron means,
yeah."
just for clarity.
Yeah, and like, remember, we need to start thinking like business owners and entrepreneurs. If we invest $1,000, how much are we going to get back? 10x, 5x. If you invest in this course, how much money are you going to get back from the strategies within this course? That's how we have to start thinking. A perfect example is one in the 1 month I invested 1650 in Google ads. I converted 12 into actual leads. I converted 7 into paying patients, all with a full paid eval. So I generated $1,155 from that. And I converted 6 out of the 7 into a paying patient, generating $500 in revenue. That's an example of a good marketing strategy that you want to reproduce month after month after month. I always like to go by the Jim Collins approach with this. You got to shoot bullets before you shoot cannonballs. And what that means is you can beta test your strategies with testing out with like $100, $150, $200 first. Test it for like a month or two. Make sure each step works. And then when it's proven to work, then you launch the cannonball. Then you spend $1,000. Then you spend 2 grand and stuff like that when it's proven to work. Don't start off spending $1,000 and you don't know if it works yet. Test it out a little bit, shoot some bullets, test it out at $100, $200, test it out, make sure it's proven to work. Then you launch the cannonball. Then you start spending 500, 1,000, 1,500 and stuff like that. What are you spending now on like Google ads?
Somewhere around 2,500 to 3 grand a month. And it
Nice.
sounds like a lot, guy. If you're just new in the cash based world, I was not spending any. I was literally spending $0 like 2 years ago on Google Ads. And once I found that I was not, there's so many more things we can talk about. But once I found what Ron just showed on one of those previous slides, where I was putting in, let's just say 1,600 or $1,650, when I had some months, and this was before COVID, uh, when I had months where I was putting in something like that, and then I only needed, because of my cost per visit, and my low overhead. My overhead was just this marketing, because we don't have an office, so there's no rent for brick and mortar, right? So when I was spending months of like $1,650, and I only needed 2 or 3 patients to hit that 12,500, for an example, and they were paying that, and I grossed that in within 30 days or within 60 days, and I was getting back that marketing spend plus profit on top of it. But then some of those people they want to do wellness. They want us to continue to come weekly or monthly and just do tune-up sessions and stretching and balance programs, or treating their family members inside their home, some other family member, right? So then it massively expands. And so that's when Ron's talking about, that's when you go from shooting bullets to shooting cannonballs, and you just pour gasoline on it. And that's how I've accelerated my monthly ad spend on Google from probably 200 or 300 bucks a month in the beginning, and then a
Yeah.
thousand or two. And then now, like, I've had months where it's over $3,000 a month. But everything is so dialed in. I have 3 or 4 different campaigns going at any given time, with different targeting different niches and different avatars, and it's spitting out this on the back end. And so that's a good problem to have.
Perfect. So let's go over some other marketing stats. So example, if I spend $300, can I get 10 opt-ins? That's a 20% conversion rate. So I get two leads. Say I'm not good with actual marketing it, and you get two of them. If you get two patients coming in at 165 each, you get two new patients. So you converted them. You sell them on $1,000 plan. Right there, you got total revenue 2,330. Your net is 2 grand. That's a perfect, simple little marketing funnel or strategy of what you want to do. Better yet, if you reproduce that every month, that's a no-brainer. Turning $300 into $2,000, I do that all day, every day. I put that on automatic. Like that is a no-brainer. And look at over a 4-month period, you invested only $300 a month. That's $1,200, and you're netting 8,000 after. Like you're beating like stock market investments with that. So that's a no-brainer for your business. You can use that same idea for your high ticket programs. You know, we go over value ladder training and creating other options, especially for you that are in insurance clinics that you want to add in cash services. Create a high ticket program. These are some examples of some of the programs that I have here at Pursuit. Say I invest $500, I get 10 leads, I convert only two of them, 165 for the eval, two new patients, $2,600. Now I just turned 500 into 5 grand. That's a no-brainer. My Facebook ad strategy. This is an example of when I was beta testing it. I was testing what amount of money can I spend on Facebook to kind of optimize my marketing strategy with the Facebook group. Spending $150, getting 91 clicks, 32 opt-ins, 25 people joined, 4 leads, 1 eval, and then I slowly kept on beta testing it until I optimize it. But this is an example of shooting bullets here. I was testing it out. How much money can I spend and still make an ROI positive? But some of these months I spent 450, made 1500, spent 150, made 600, 150 again, 900, 200, $800. So I was still ROI positive. You can do a Facebook $37 strategy. This is up in the air. Kind of some people like it and some people don't. Get people in for a cheap eval. Some people on Facebook will actually buy this. But if I spend $1,000 on marketing, get 25 leads, I get 22 people in for a $37 eval, and you're focusing not making money on the eval, but the lifetime value of that patient. And say you get only 10 people to convert at $1,000 a pop, right there's 10 grand. It's still ROI positive. This is a strategy that I've tested on Facebook that this does work on certain niche markets that you can use. It does take some good sales copy to convert the lead still, but this is a Facebook strategy that actually works. A webinar example, you can pay yourself $150 because time is money. The time you're spending doing that, you could be paying yourself for that. You get 25 people to sign up, 16 people actually attend. You convert 8 of them to $165 eval. You get 6 new patients from it. Total revenue $7,320. Doing a live webinar, or sorry, a live seminar or webinar is the fastest, easiest way to get leads if you can get that webinar in front of the right niche market. I mean, it's simple, easy. 150 bucks, turn it into 7 grand. Here's another lower back pain example that I did on Google. Cost me $837. I had 5,000 some impressions, 191 clicks, 7 leads. 5 of them turned into paid evals at 165. I got four new patients from it. Total revenue was almost 8 grand. I netted 7. Okay, this is how you have to start thinking. You're probably asking, how do I measure my stats? I actually designed this scorecard for all of our members who take some of our courses, all the mastermind members. This is a scorecard how I track my marketing. The top line right there is all my marketing strategies and the money that I investing in the marketing strategy. And then I track my opportunities, which are the leads. If I'm spending money in that column, I better get some money coming coming out of that column too. And then I track my revenue from the leads, the return on investment, the evals, the patients, the conversion rates, and stuff like that. So this is the scorecard. Some of you may have heard me talking about that if you're in some of our groups. But this is a scorecard that I use to track my stats. Now, I have a team of therapists. Dave and I are scaling our practices. Dave is more mobile again. I'm brick and mortar. I have 3 other therapists right now. I do have monthly meetings. I go over the stats. I have an open book policy. I show people the numbers. This is an example of what we're doing in 2021. We're starting to bump up the budget a little bit. These are real actual stats. This is an example. In January, I spent 2,500, got 55 leads. I'm paying $45 a lead, which is a no-brainer. The question you have to ask yourself is, how much are you willing to pay to get one new patient? And that's going to help facilitate your paid marketing strategy stuff. Again, this is all advanced stuff. You can get this stuff in some of the other courses also. But in February, we bumped up the budget to 3,500, and we're still analyzing the stats. You could see in 2020 in March, that's when COVID happened. That's a perfect example. We had 18 leads. That was horrible. But this is actually a real example of how I measure my stats, and I share the stats with my team, and we go over that every month. So I thought this was an awesome thing, because most people are like, well, I don't want to spend money on advertising and or I could save that money. But Henry Ford says that stopping advertising to save money is like stopping a watch to save time. And Dave and I kind of understand this too now, that when you're talking about paid marketing, the person that spends the most on marketing is going to win.
That's why I'm
And
winning up here in New York City, man.
we have to get out of that. We got to change our mindset, and not be scared at first. But I I hope that this marketing strategy webinar and video training is going to help you get through that. But I've heard that from multiple times where the people who are spending the most budget on marketing are the people that are winning. So it's good.
So specifically about this slide, I posted so we have two Facebook groups. One is for our mastermind privately, and we have the other cash-based physical therapy business success, which is free. If you're watching this and you're in this course, you're probably already in that group. And if you're not, it's free. So make sure you look it up on Facebook, cash-based physical therapy business success. And in that group, recently I posted a quote from a prospective patient that called me. And what he said, Ron, was, I found you on Google. You were one of the first results when I searched for best back pain doctor in Brooklyn. And he said, I came up on the top. I have not even been established enough. I don't have enough SEO, all that to organically pop up in the top. I mean, there's clinics in Brooklyn here that have been here for 10, 20, 30, whatever years. And they have spent tens of thousands of dollars and spent more on SEO and spent more into Google than I have over the last, let's just say 10, 15 years. So the fact when he said that, and he said that I was at the top, I know. And then of course I can always check it, right? So I know the guy, he called me from a certain phone number, right? So then you can go into Google, into your Google Ads dashboard, and I could see the guy's number when he called, and obviously I called him back and we spoke. So I know that was him, and I know, my point is, I know that he clicked on an ad, and he did not really know that that was an advertisement. He thought I popped up organically on the top of Google, and that is the point of doing online advertising. And going back to that Henry Ford quote, I don't think I'm ever going to turn off my Google ads. And that's what I said in that post. So that I'm just trying to tie that slide into marketing and online advertising. And even though we're doing well, and if I say, oh, well, if I turn off ads for the next 3 months, I could make 9 grand by saving that money and not spending it on Google. But I also could miss out on the opportunity of like making
Yes.
30 grand or 45 grand or more, you know?
That's where that's where we have to start changing our mindset. I totally agree,
Right.
because we all start out conservative and we don't want to pay too much and it gets too much. But um, if you really want to grow your practice beyond just word of mouth and hire some staff, you're going to have to tap into paid marketing at some point. And that funnel strategy of what we gave you of going through each step and making sure it's ROI positive, once you start shooting bullets and it's beta tested and it works, then you start launching cannonballs, and then you start, turning ROI 10x and 15x and stuff like that. So eventually, if you want to scale your practice and hire other staff, you're going to have to get into paid marketing eventually. So to kind of summarize some of the stuff, step 7, you have to manage your marketing stats and make sure it works. Please focus on getting ROI positive. It's not just spending 1,000 and making 1,000. So here is your new PT marketing strategy, the 7-step process. Each step is laid out. If you follow this process, you will have the blueprint of a foundation to create a marketing strategy for your business, not just to get your first 10 cash paying patients, but you're also going to set yourself up for success, where you're going to become immune to kind of tragedies and stuff like that. Because even through COVID, I was able to still grow my practice, and we were able to show a 10% growth last year, even throughout COVID, because of the marketing foundation was already set. Days practice was continuing to grow also up in New York, and New York was killed with COVID. So this blueprint and this strategy is going to help you succeed, not only just starting out, not just adding cash-based services, but you could take this foundation and this principle and apply it to every time you build a new strategy. Okay, so this is an example of what it looks like. We're designing our strategy to funnel leads into our system. If I was just starting out my practice to help you guys out right now, if you're just starting out your practice, I'd reach out to your network, your circle of influence. Who do you know? I would start marketing to them. I definitely create a live seminar or like a live lecture. I double down on that and create a webinar. So you shoot it one time and you use it again. Use the same slides pretty much. I'd reach out to local businesses. Who are the local businesses that have my ideal niche market? And I invite them on a podcast interview, invite them on a video podcast interview, establish relationships with local businesses who are in front of your niche market. Definitely have a website. A closed Facebook group is another good idea. You can get a lot of people funneled into Facebook. Into that, they'll get to see your content, like you, and then they'll convert that way. Instagram, definitely. Local listings and your Google business listings for maps and stuff like that. That's a must. Again, the top three are going to be Google, Facebook, and Yelp, and then definitely add in Bing, Apple Maps, and even Yahoo are going to be awesome to do. Got to master the testimonial process. If you need help with the testimonial process or you want our process, we have that testimonial process course. That's a no brainer. I mean, I have 217 reviews right now. I'm ranked number one, and the number one thing of what people call and say is, I saw your testimonials, and that's me. So it helps the sales process. It does the sales process for me. And then as you get through all this stuff, then you can start dabbling into like a paid pay per click ad. If you're going to go diagnosis based, use Google. If you're going to target more niche, maybe more Facebook. But that would be an example marketing strategy that I would do if I was just starting out. And then I promised you guys that we'd go over what I'm doing currently today, just so you can see an example of what is going on. I got my word of mouth strategy going on. We have a monthly newsletter that's going out to past patients. My patients also get a monthly long term email drip system. We get around roughly 20 word of mouth referrals a month right now. Local business referrals, we have the podcast going out. We reached out to local concierge physicians. We have webinar lectures, which I showed you multiple landing pages for, and doing live lectures and seminars. Local business listings are all on point. Testimonial process is out there. We got the evergreen webinar going on. Again, that's targeting pain awareness people. Our social media is going to. I'm big on YouTube content, so I do a lot of YouTube content. Um, Wish I had more time for Instagram. Probably have to pay someone to do that. Reinvesting money in website SEO to get more organic traffic. We do have Facebook retargeting going on. I'm only spending probably like 150 or $200 a month, but if anyone goes to the website, there's a Facebook pixel on the website. It captures the data, and everyone's getting retargeted on Facebook to incentivize them to call. We got Google pay per click campaigns going for low back pain sciatica. We're beta testing a shoulder impingement one right now and a rotator cuff impingement. Again, I'm going through that initial phase. I want to make sure it works first. The third velocity webinar is going on. Return to sport programs. We got Facebook throwers program doing, and I got that closed Facebook group that's targeting runners. So this is my current marketing strategy of what I'm doing today, just so you guys have an example. I know it's a lot, but eventually I hope that you guys can all get to this too. That's going to go from there. An important rule that you should always pay attention to also, you may look at that and be like, wow, Ron, that's like a lot of stuff. But 80% of your results will come from 20% of your efforts. So remember, I told you we get around 20 word of mouth referrals a month. Add that in plus Google business listing plus my sciatica and lower back pain ads, right there is 80% of my results right there. Okay. So you got to focus on what's really driving traffic. Notice I told you I don't do a lot of social media. I'm not spending a lot of time on Instagram right now because I dabble in it and then I do a Google ad and I know my Google ads work better. So I focus my time and energy on that a lot. Focus on the 20% that's going to get you 80% of your results. So in summary, I know, thank you guys for hanging in there with me for so long. So number one thing, if you forget any of this. Make sure you identify your ideal patient. That is the crucial first step, because especially whenever you're trying to outsource marketing or grow your marketing, if you're focused on that first step, everything's going to be much more clear and targeted. Okay. So focus on identifying your ideal patient first. Next, then you have the 7-step process to design your initial marketing strategy, and that will get you your next 10 plus cash paying patients. And then we kind of showed you some strategies to kind of go over how to measure your marketing with real examples and how to get ROI positive. So remember, our job is to make a change. Our job is to connect with people, to interact them in a way that leaves them better than how we found them, more able to get where they like to go. Okay. We're not trying to be sleazy salespeople. We're really trying to help people and educate them on the value that we bring so we can interact with them and we can help them get pain free and back to their favorite activities. Okay. Um, and I always like to finish off this because I believe in the future of physical therapy. I think the cash based model is going to have a lot to like do with that. And I think the future is right in physical therapy. And the question is for
Absolutely.
you is, do you believe in the future of physical therapy and how your career and how your practice is going? So I know it's a lot. We're going to end up here. If you do have any questions, you can send us an email directly at cashbasedpt@gmail.com. Or for more information and for more courses, you can visit the website at cashbasedphysicaltherapy.org. Thank you again for your investment in this. I hope you learned a lot. Please, if you have any questions, you can ask us, send us an email, message us. We will be glad to help you out. And thanks for staying to the end. And then we'll see you on the other side, right?
Yeah, and I just want to say, Ron, thank you for leading this course. Thank you for putting a lot of this together. Guys, I was where you are at right now at one point. Obviously, Ron was as well. And I took and invested in his courses similar to this once upon a time to start to learn some of this, because again, we don't learn this in physical therapy school, and we don't learn it we don't learn in DBT school. Most of us don't learn it in undergrad. And so this and more resources that we have, definitely take a look at it. We have free resources on cashbasedphysicaltherapy.org on the main website. You have the email address there to ask us some questions. And we would love to assist you and help you grow your revenue, grow your profits, but more importantly, make a bigger impact in your community, treat people, treat patients how you want to treat them, and basically live a freedom-based lifestyle rather than the burnout with all the documentation and all the issues with working in a very busy mill or factory type clinic, or if you're home care and you're doing 15 or 20 or 25 patients a day. There is something different out there for you. If you're watching this, you are already on that journey, you know there's something else different, feel free to reach out to us. And I just want to say, Ron, again, thank you for leading this course.
Yeah, no problem. Please do not hesitate if you have any questions or concerns. And we hope to see you guys soon. And I hope everyone's practices and clinics are doing well. And we'll see you soon then. We'll see you. Bye.